Pieces of a famous Air Force base are all that remain. We're talking about Chanute Air Force Base in Rantoul.
It was a part of Central Illinois for decades in the community, and now its history, it's on display. Graduate students Thomas Kuipers and Leslie Strauss are here with more. So at the Champaign County Historical Archives, you guys are kind of passionate about that, yes?
Yes, we are.
And so tell me a little bit about this project that you've been working on with the Urbana Free Library.
In 2015, the Urbana Free Library and the Champaign County Historical Archives, we basically got donated all the physical archives of the Chanute Air Museum. And since then, the interns from the university have been helping to process the collection.
Do they just like show up with a truck and like dump it on the parking lot? How does that transfer of stuff work?
We weren't there for the transfer itself,
Yeah.
but I do know that it did take a little while, and also the U.S. military did come through afterwards and kind of weed out the files that they didn't want us to have our hands on. So,
Things have been redacted.
yeah, they've taken a few things away, but there's still it would fill a room. It's more records in this room. It's quite impressive.
Why would they take things away if they had already been like in the museum, but now I guess they weren't on display at the museum?
So it was a military base from 1917 to 1993. After that, it became the active Chanute Aerospace Museum, so it just had a continuation of the same military records. And in fact, the person who headed the museum was the base historian at the base before.
Oh, okay.
So it was just kind of a continuation of those records. So once it got into our hands, they probably, I don't know what they removed.
So what types of things are you pulling out of this that you're finding interesting that you want to put on display?
Well, I've been working with the photograph collection, and I've gone over probably tens of thousands of photographs at this point. I think it's great. We have some great photos that you can see on our Flickr page, actually. For instance, we have a gentleman who got his parachute hooked onto an airplane at one point, and for 30 to 40 minutes was basically stuck flying in the air.
Oh.
We have photographs of that event.
Wow.
Yeah.
Worst carnival ride.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I work with the vertical files, which are essentially just all of the records that they put in file cabinets over the years.
Oh, you got the exciting part.
Oh man, yeah, it's like looking through grandmother's basement. You know what I mean? There is just so much materials there. There's all kinds of interesting stuff.
But wealthy in information.
And here are some of those pictures. Well, and here's some of the information there that you have been gathering and pouring yourselves through. Why do you find this interesting and that other people should come and check it out?
I feel like the Air Force Base was so important to the livelihood of Rantoul and the surrounding areas for such an incredibly long period of time. And it's kind of in its veins at this point, even if it may no longer exist. And it is important for us to understand, you know, where family and friends and, you know, other people came from.
What favorite thing you found?
Oh man, there's so many good things. Recently I uncovered the file of a woman named Lucy Goff, and she was actually the program director for the YMCA from 1943 to 1975, I believe. And she was at Chanute from 1951 until 1975. And right when she got there, she put together like 175 local organizations to like give cookies and cakes and like set up dances and things like that. And she ended up, after retired, she became part of the Chanute Heritage Foundation, and like there's pictures of her dancing with Don Weckhorst, the base historian, and yeah, they dedicated. There's 2 streets named after Lucy Goff for all the things she did for Chanute. So
wow,
yeah.
Stories that probably would have been lost for the most part otherwise.
Yep.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I was actually in high school when the base closed there in Rantoul, and it took a major hit. And so I know a lot of people in Rantoul still, you know, have connections and ties to Chanute Air Force Base. So this would be such a great opportunity for them to come and, you know, maybe relive that and share stories. So you have an open house. What do you have planned?
So our open house is going to be this Saturday, April 6th from 11 to 3 p.m. And we're going to have some of the exhibits, but in addition to that, we are also going to have music that would have been played at the base. We're going to have food while supplies last. Yeah, we're going to have a paper airplane, kind of a, I won't say vent, but
creation station.
Yeah, creation station for any kids or adults that would wish to participate, and you can fly them and see how far they get.
Yeah, we also have the Champaign County, I think it's called the Radio Flyers Club, and they're bringing scale model airplanes of planes that were flown at Chanute Air Force Base.
Oh, wow.
And I actually just put together an exhibit that like kind of discusses a little bit more those specific planes, like the Jenny and I think a P-51 Mustang and a B-24 Liberator. So yeah, we're going to have like little, I mean, they're not little, like the wingspans are still pretty big, but they're, you know, in relation, smaller.
To clarify, the food was not left over from the base that you're serving, right?
No. I've seen those recipe guides. You don't want any of that.
One last thing, we are going to have a conversation corner for any people that may have worked at the base. You could come and maybe talk about it with other people.
Oh, nice.
That's great. Keeping it alive.
Yes, absolutely.
That's wonderful.
Appreciate you guys being here.
Yeah, we'll have all the information on the Chanute open house happening at the Urbana Free Library over at sailiving.tv.